Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And today we're going to talk about what it looks like for your sun in your Navamsa chart. What does this tell us about you and your purpose in life? Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So, before we talk about your D9 Navamsa sun's position, we first have to understand what the sun represents. This is very important because the sun is often not talked about as much in Vedic astrology, but the sun is very important in Vedic astrology. The sun is a pure energy. It is representing righteousness, purity. It is your path, your direction, your principles. So sun gives you purpose. It gives you strength, vitality, confidence, willpower, self-esteem. The sun is highly important for this. The sun also gives you reputation because the sun is brightest when it comes into the 10th house of the chart. This is midday where the sun becomes all about your status, your reputation, how you show up in the world. And the sun also, being a giver of life to us, is all about your health. It is all about your wellness. The sun also is giving you a sense of leadership, of authority. And so sun is a very dominating presence. And when the sun is imbalanced in the chart, it can create ego issues. So what is the D9 Navamsa? The D9 Navamsa is a divisional or Varga chart. It is an extension of your natal chart. And the D9 is associated with the 9th house of your chart. And so it's very important when you're getting into your D9 Navamsa that you are looking at both charts together. This will give you the most accurate interpretation of what this represents in your natal chart. The D9 is related to marriage because it is connected to Venus. And if we actually look in the natal chart and we go 3 houses from the 7th house of partnership, we arrive at the 9th house. So the 9th house is also connected to marriage. It is the ability to attain marriage. So 9th house is our highest fortune in life. It is our results, and this is what this D9 is all about, is this result in life. So if we think about the D1 natal chart as a map of your karmas, then the D9 is where we burn those karmas. The D9 becomes the backdrop of your natal chart. And we can actually see that when we look at the different nakshatras, that those padas of the nakshatra fall into your Navamsa chart. So for example, if you were born under Shravana in the 3rd pada, we know that that falls within a Gemini Navamsa. So when we move over into your D9 chart, then the sun will shift over into the sign of Gemini, whereas though in your natal chart it was in Shravana in Capricorn. The D9 is also related to your principles. It's as we were just talking about a few minutes ago with the sun, that is all about your principles, your purpose, because the 9th house of your chart is one of the trine houses. The 1st, 5th, and 9th house are all about your path, your direction in life. It gives you a sense of purpose. And in the 9th house in particular, it becomes about your principles, your morals, your direction, your destiny. It is all about the higher philosophy, the philosophy that you develop in life that is true to who you are. And so we can see this philosophy, this life path, this direction shown in your D9 Navamsa chart. Just a quick disclaimer before getting into the interpretation of the sun through the D9 houses, that it is very important to see what sign and nakshatra the sun is falling into in the Navamsa chart. It is also important to see if the sun is in conjunction with any challenging planets or receiving challenging aspects, along with the age of the individual as well. We know that the D9 is related to marriage. And the D9 is not only related to marriage, it is the backdrop of your natal chart. So it is always active behind your D1 chart. So we can think of the D9 as a psychological interpretation of you and your life, but it also pertains to the events that happen in marriage. And so a lot of the situations in your chart will improve with time for many of you. And we can see that the sun matures at the age of 27. So this becomes very important to keep in mind. Also, we know that the ultimate time of maturity is when Saturn reaches its maturity at the age of 36. So these are things to keep in mind when looking at the different interpretations. We also have to keep in mind that the D9 is all about committed relationships. It is not about short-term relationships. So when we look at the events that are occurring within marriage, it is having to do with those committed relationships. And so this is not only marriage, but this is any kind of committed relationship that you are getting into. In some cases, the D9 also, especially in the seventh house of the D9, can correspond to a business partner as well. Another factor is that I am going by a different school of thought when it comes to the houses and their meanings. I am not interpreting the houses in the D9 Navamsa as they would be in the D1 natal chart. I am going by Sanjay Rath, who is using a completely different method and approach, which is putting the first house of the D9 as the ninth house. So the ascendant of the D9 becomes your dharma, your principles, your path, your destiny. Where the second house becomes about your career. The third house becomes about your gains and desires. The fourth house becomes about your expenses, losses, but also about your happiness within your marriage. The fifth house becomes all about you, your confidence, your self-esteem, your health, the way that others see you. The sixth house becomes all about your money and how you are managing responsibilities within your life. The seventh house is about your spouse. The eighth house is about your home environment that is shared within your marriage. The ninth house is about children. The 10th house becomes about money, illnesses, conflicts, all of the daily responsibilities that need to be managed within a marriage. The 11th house becomes about your gains that come through your marriage and also the gain of your spouse. And the 12th house is about death and losses. So starting off, for those of you with the sun in the first house of your D9 Navamsa, this shows that you have a very strong personality. You are someone who is very dominant, who is able to take charge to get things done, and you are looking for a powerful spouse within your marriage. So you are seeking out someone who is also very strong as well. The difficulty with this position is that sometimes there can be ego issues where you can become very egocentric, very dominating, and this can cause some potential conflicts within your marriage. For those of you with the sun in the second house of your D9 Navamsa, this shows that you are someone who is very focused on your status, your reputation, your security. You are all about seeking security in your relationship, but also in general, you are wanting to provide security within your relationship. And your work life, your career becomes very important to you. You can sometimes have conflicts with your partner when it comes to money, when it comes to managing things within your marriage. Also, you can be someone who has a very powerful speaking voice, very dominating. When you speak, other people listen to you. For those of you with the sun in the third house of your D9 Navamsa, you can gain a lot of support for your career. You can gain through your government. You can gain through your spouse's family. You are attracting gains towards you. And this becomes especially prominent when you are entering into a marriage. This also shows that you are someone who is very confident, who is very sure of yourself. You go for what you want. And along with this, you are someone who can gain through your communication skills. So if you are involved in journalism, media, writing, any kind of communication, this can help you to increase your wealth and support. For those of you with Sun in the fourth house of your D9 Navamsa, you want to be careful with this position because once again, the fourth house of the D9 becomes a house of losses and expenditure. So Sun coming into this fourth house can mean that you are someone who is very extravagant. You have very exquisite taste. You want to spend on beautiful possessions. You want to make your environment within your marriage very beautiful. And so this can mean that you are someone who spends a lot. You can have a lot of loss and expenses coming up through your marriage. There also can be issues where you are unable to compromise with your spouse as well. You like to feel comfortable, secure, and in control within your marriage. For those of you with Sun in the fifth house of your D9 Navamsa, once again, the fifth house of the D9 is you. It is your appearance, your body, your personality. So having the Sun here means that you are a very confident person. You are very independent, very assertive, very sure of yourself. Also, because the sun is lighting up this house, you are very intelligent. You are very bright and sharp-minded. You love to learn. This also makes you someone who is extremely focused on your health, extremely focused on your appearance, the way that you are coming across to others. Your impression becomes very important to you. For those of you with the sun in the sixth house of your D9 Navamsa chart, you are someone who is able to manage all of the everyday responsibilities, especially when it comes to your finances and resources. There can be some difficulties over how money is being spending and how you are putting out your resources within your relationship. All of your money management gets challenged in this area. But you are oftentimes a very respectable person, someone who is acknowledged within your family. Because once again, this is relative to the second house of your natal chart. With the sun in the sixth house of the D9, this also makes you someone who is highly responsible, extremely dedicated, and supported. You are able again to manage everything within the marriage, within the relationship, and this makes you a very dependable person. For those of you with the sun in the seventh house of the D9 Navamsa, you are extremely devoted to your spouse. And so you are a very dependable person, extremely loyal and dedicated. However, you can have some issues within your relationship because this shows that you are attracting a spouse who is very dominating, who is very assertive. Your spouse is wearing the pants in the relationship. So depending upon how the sun is placed within your D9, this can show some ego battles and even separation or divorce. So this is a very challenging position where this is requiring some compromise. For those of you with the sun in the eighth house of your D9 Navamsa, this makes you someone who is all about being in control. Remember that this eighth house becomes the house of your home within the D9 Navamsa. So you are in charge of the household. You like for things to be a certain way within the home. You hold authority within the home space of your marriage. This can bring up some issues within your marriage as well, where there is difficulty with compromising. You like to be the one in charge in this situation. You are also a deep studier. You like to get into deep occult knowledge, philosophy. You want to understand the backside of everything. Along with this, your status, your reputation becomes very important to you because, again, you want to be the one who is in charge of making this home situation feel comfortable and secure. For those of you with the sun in the ninth house, this is a very special position within the Navamsa chart. This is going to make you extremely focused on your dharma. You are all about your philosophy, your path in life. And this can get you very interested in religion, in mantra, meditation, prayer. You want to get into scriptures, into things that help you to stay aligned with your dharmic path. You are highly intelligent and creative. You love to learn. Again, specifically these subjects that are aligned with your dharma. This can also show that you have a male child in some cases, but we have to look at the D7 along with the fifth house of your natal chart before coming to this conclusion. This, again, can make you someone who is highly creative, and specifically, we know that the sun relates to music, so you can have musical talent. For those of you with the sun in the 10th house of your D9, you are very confident. You are able to manage everything within your marriage, and you actually make a great teammate with your spouse. It is you and your spouse against the world. So you are able to manage conflicts, you're able to address all of the difficulties that come your way. This is a powerful position because this becomes the 6th house of conflicts within your D9 Navamsa. So you're able to sort out conflicts. You're able to deal with debt. You are able to deal with illnesses very well. You have a strong ability to sort out and resolve conflicts. With Sun in this 10th house, you are also extremely competitive. So again, you're able to deal with enemies, you're able to deal with competitors, all sorts of conflicts. This also, though, sometimes can indicate loss within foreign lands. So there is a need for caution in this area. Remember that the Sun is going to be opposing the 4th house of losses from the D9 perspective. For those of you with the sun in the 11th house of your D9 Navamsa, you are someone who is extremely responsible. You are able to put a lot of devotion into your marriage. The difficulty with this position is that you are sacrificing yourself because now the sun has gone opposite to the 5th house of self. So you are very much focused on your spouse and not on yourself. This can mean that you are having a lot of difficulties, health-related issues, stress, all sorts of issues related to not putting enough care and attention onto yourself. So this is very important that you're paying attention to your own needs when in a relationship. But ultimately, you are a very loyal and devoted person. With Sun in the 12th house of the D9 Navamsa, there can be all sorts of obstacles happening within your home country, especially when getting married, because this 8th house becomes about death and sudden changes in this D9 Navamsa chart. So oftentimes Sun in the 12th house of the D9 is going to give you luck and fortune in a foreign place. You also can gain some support from your spouse's family because this will be opposite to that 6th house, which is the original 2nd house from the D9 perspective. So your family within your marriage supporting you. This can definitely be a challenging position for relationships where there's always a difficulty with finding the right partner, or there's a loss of passion, a loss of connection happening within your relationships. Many of you with this position of Sun in this 12th house of the D9, you tend to have better connections when there is some distance within your relationships.